Hey everybody, this packet here. I'm going to do 5 problems in it just to give you a refresher on where we were at before we left from break. I'm not going to do the whole packet, so you're going to want to follow along to know which problems you can skip. Okay, it's going to be 5 problems that I do. Okay, so one of the things we did was we took these 2 lines, this line first and then this line, graphed it, and tried to find out where the lines cross at, and that's the solution for x, what x equals and what y equals. So we're going to look at this one and ignore that one for a second. So here's y and here's x. Okay, x and y are both there. They're on opposite sides. So if they're on opposite sides, we want to determine the slope and the y-intercept of the line of the equation. Okay, so the slope is the number in front of the x multiplier, and that would be 1, and it needs to be a fraction, so we put a 1 under it, and then the y-intercept is this other number that's being added, which is -4. Okay, so the y-intercept means I go down 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, make a point. And then from this point, I use my slope, and I'm going to go up 1 and right 1. So up 1, right 1, and just graph it as straight as you can. I don't have time to pass out all rulers, okay? Graph it as straight as you possibly can, okay? Okay, so there's the first line. Once that line has been graphed, you can cross out the first equation. And now we graph the second equation on this graph. We're not going to do anything in this graph, nothing. Okay, again, the y and x are on opposite sides. Okay, y is here, x is here. So again, they're on opposite. So the best way to graph when the variables, the letters are on opposite sides, is with the slope and our y-intercept. Okay, so the slope is -1 this time. We want to put a 1 with it. And my y-intercept, there's a -2 being added there because -2 means -2. So -2 is the y-intercept. So I'm going to be going down once again. And then on this one, I'm going to be going down 1, but I'm still going to go to the right. Okay, I always like to go to the right on a slope. So I go down 1, right 1. Now there's a point already there, so I'm going to circle that and then just graph these two this way. Okay, and then the points cross right here. Okay, so I got to decide what the x value is at that point and what the y value. Now remember, the x is always sideways. So from the middle, I'm sideways 1 square. Okay, I go sideways 1 to the right, so it's +1, so the x is 1. And then the y, I just count how many squares I need to go vertically. I have to go down, so it's going to be negative. And then how many down? 1, 2, 3, so -3. Okay, now I'm not going to do this one, okay, so I'm going to X that out. And now I'm going to go on to these two, okay? Our job is to find what the x equals and what the y equals, so put that down there, okay? Because we got to find numbers for both of them. And I have a system. I've got 5 times x plus 2 times y equals 9, and then x equals -1y plus -3. Well, I look for a base equation. That means an equation that has a letter. It could be x, it could be y, all by itself with nothing in front of it, okay? Nothing with it. And it's the x, so this bottom equation is my base, okay? So the x is by itself, so I'm going to box the x up and then circle what the x is equal to, all that stuff. And then I write the other equation over here. So 5x means 5 times x plus 2y means 2 times y equals 9. Now I need to put a parentheses around one of these two letters. It depends which letters are all by itself in the box. It's x, okay? So since x is in the box, here, you don't have to write this, but I'll explain it in my writing. X is in box, so x gets the parentheses. Okay, so here's x, I parenthesize that, and then I just copy everything down, but I'm going to make an empty parentheses. So I see a 5, and then I see a parentheses. Now I'm going to leave that parentheses blank, and after the parentheses I got plus 2y equals 9. Okay, so now extend that parentheses so it's wider, and then put everything that came after it, plus 2y equals 9. Okay, now, in that parentheses, I put what the x is equal to, which was negative 1y plus negative 3. Now I have an equation that has y down twice, so y is going to be the first letter that we solve for. First answer goes here. Okay, so with this parentheses, I need to draw my rainbows. So I take 5 times negative 1, that'd be negative 5 with y. Then I take 5 times negative 3, that'd be negative 15 without y, and then I cross that out. Now before equals, I have to add a 2y, and then I can write equals 9. Okay, here's my equals. The two y's are on the same side, so I draw my little adding pyramid that tells me I add. Okay. So I want to add negative 5 plus 2. It's not 7, okay, because it's negative 5 plus 2. That's going to be negative 3. So this adds to negative 3 with y. Okay, now before equals, I have to add the negative 15. Now I can write equals 9. Okay, now I can dot and circle my only y. Okay, now before I divide by negative 3, I've got to add 15 to both sides. So plus 15 plus 15. So negative 3 dot y, and 9 plus 15 is 24. And then I go divide both sides by negative 3 and take negative 24 divided by, or 24, positive 24 divided by negative 3. It's negative 8. And that's your y. Remember, that's your first answer. Now, I did have some confusion as to which y I should put that in for, okay? You always want to use the base equation if you have one, and I have one right here. So this is the y I want to replace. So I parenthesize the y, and I'm going to put negative 8 in for the y, okay? That's a negative 8 right there that I just wrote. Now I can just plug it into my calculator because x equals negative 1 times negative 8 plus negative 3. So negative 1 parentheses negative 8, that means it's times, plus negative 3. And I got 5. Okay, and then the next problem, again, we're solving for x and we're solving for y. So y equals 9 plus negative 2 times x, and then 4 times x plus negative 1 times y equals negative 15. Now, this one here, the y is by itself, so this will be my base equation. So I box the y and circle what the y is equal to. Now I write the other equation. So 4 times x plus negative 1 times y equals negative 15. Okay, now what's the letter in the box? So this time y, you don't have to write this that I'm doing now. Y is in the box, so y gets the parentheses, okay? So I want to put a parentheses this time with the y. So 4x plus negative 1, and then I come to the parentheses, so I make 1, just don't put anything in it for now. And then after y, you have equals negative 15. Okay, now make that parentheses so it's wider, so you can fit all the stuff in it. And now I'm ready. I know that y is equal to 9 plus negative 2 times x. So I put 9 plus negative 2x. Okay, now I have x and x, so I will be solving for x first. Okay, so rainbows. -1 times 9 is -9, and then plus. And then -1 times -2 is +2, but that would have x with it because we had an x, so cross that out. Now before equals, we have to add the 4x that's right there. And now I can equals -15. So there's always a little something you got to add a lot of times before you write equals. Okay, so the x's are on the same side, so I connect those with a pyramid and just write add. So I take +2 times +4, and that's 6x. Now before I write equals, I have to add the -9. Now I can write equals -15. Okay, so I dot my 6x, circle it, -9, so I plus 9. Before I divide, so I got 6 dot x, and I can write equals then, and -15 plus 9 is -6. And now I can divide both sides by 6. So -6 divided by 6 is -1, and that's the answer I put for x. Okay, now again, you want to use the equation with the base. Don't do that x. Do the one in the base. Much easier. So I parenthesize it, and I'm going to put -1. Okay, that's a -1 I just put. So I've got 9 plus -2, parentheses -1, because that's what y equals now, and that's 11. Okay, we're going to skip these two on the back, cross them out. It's just the same stuff, and now we're going to do both the story problems. At a store, a person buys 5 hardcover books and 2 paperback books. The hardcover books cost $2 more than the paperbacks. If a person pays $26, what's the cost of a hardcover book and what's the cost of a paperback book? So we got hardcover books, paperback books, and money. Look at what I've underlined, and that is 3 units. So anytime we have 3 units like that, we're going to make our box. Okay, it's like a tic-tac-toe. And the labels on the boxes, I always go total and then total. But that total, you want a money sign above it, and then how many, and single. And you want to put a money sign above single, but don't put a money sign above how many. That's for non-money amounts. Okay, now the 2 things I'm buying, I've already written money down, so it'd be hardcover and paperback. So I'm going to write hard and paper. Now the first thing you want to do is find the total money that was paid, and that always is given to us. It's $26. And go cross that out. Now let's do our top row. That's for non-money numbers. So I have 5's not a money amount, so it goes in here somewhere. 5 hardcover books. So 5 goes right there. Clear cut 5. And then 2 paperbacks, that goes here. And then this right here I don't really need, okay? So that's finished. Now let's look down here. The only thing I see about money that's left is $2 more. That means you don't just put 2. When it says more than after it, you need to go up here and write x plus 2 and x. Because that is what we'll be putting in these 2 boxes. But you got to put the x plus 2 in the right box. You can't just put it wherever you feel like. It says the hardcover books cost $2 more. So since the hardcovers cost $2 more, the x plus 2 goes under the hardcover books. And then the x is going to go under the paperback books. Okay, just like that. All right, now we're going to multiply. Well, I know 2 times x is 2x. Now to multiply 5 times x plus 2, we're going to want to put a 1 here. And then I'm going to draw kind of a multiplication pyramid, 5 to the 1x and the 5 to the 2. Those dots mean times. So 5 times 1x is 5x, and 5 times 2 is 10. Okay. Okay, now I write an equation. I have 5x plus 10 plus 2x. And then before I write 26, I write equals, because it equals the total. Okay, so the x's are on the same side of the equals, so we add pyramid, and that's 7x. And then I'm going to dot my 7 and circle it, and then minus 10 from both sides. Okay, so 7 dot x equals 16, and now we divide by 7. Now the answer I get is not going to look very nice, but it's right. Okay, now look at what it says here, 2.29, 2.28. Just ignore everything after the second decimal and write $2.28. Okay. I just don't go past two places because you're finding costs, so I can have 2 digits because that would be the cents. Now, if you're wondering where that goes, go find your plain old X, and there it is right there. Okay. So that would be your paperback books. So the paperback is $2.28. Okay, now to find the hardcover, go up here, scribble out the two X's because we know X is 2.28. So I know I have an answer of 2.28. And then the other one, I take 2.28 plus 2. And that's $4.28. Okay, then my next one. You're buying apples and oranges at the store. You buy 4 pounds of apples and 3 pounds of oranges. The oranges cost 25 cents more than the apples. You pay a total of $9.78. What's the cost for a pound of each type of fruit? So again, 3 units because you got apples underlined, oranges underlined, and money. Put a money sign above that, total, and then how many, and single, but you want to put a dollar sign above single. And then A and O for apples and oranges. Okay, so our money total is $9.78. That's how much we paid. Cross that off. Now find a non-money amount to put in the top row. Well, we got 4 pounds of apples and 3 pounds of oranges. So we can cross those two out, and then I go right below it. The only other thing I see is 25 cents more. So don't just put 0.25. You need to go up here and put X plus 0.25 and then just X. Those are going to be what we put in those boxes. Now it says the oranges cost 25 cents more. The oranges cost more, so X plus 0.25 is your oranges. Okay, and then I just put X right there. So we know 4 times X is 4X, but to multiply this, I need to put a 1 and draw my pyramid. That means times. So I take 3 times 1X, that's 3X, it's easy enough. Then you might want your calculator because you got to take 3 times 0.25. You got to get the decimal. You can't just put 25, and that's 0.75. Okay, so now I've got 4x plus 3x plus 0.75 equals 9.78. And then my x's, I add those together because they're on the same side, and that's 7x plus 0.75 equals 9.78. I dot my x. I'm going to minus 0.75. And I got 7.x, and that ends up being 9.03, and then I divide by 7, and 9.03 divided by 7 is 1.29. Now you got to put that in the right place. Go find your x that's by itself right there, right there. That's under apples, so $1.29 is your apples. Then to find the oranges, just go up here and replace both your x's with 1.29. So I know that's my first answer. And then I take 1.29 plus 0.25, and that's 1.54. Okay, and that's where we're at now. Now click on the other tab and watch the second video. It's not a lot of work, but you need to do it.